John F. Kennedy, America's charismatic president; Robert F. Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's loyal brother and protector of the family; and Marilyn Monroe, the golden goddess of the silver screen. One ruled a nation, one guarded the throne, and one stole their hearts. This is one of history's darkest secrets. What happened was not just a love story. It was a tale of power, betrayal, and death. Within only 6 years, a president, an attorney general, and Hollywood's brightest star all lost their lives. And what remained was a love triangle, forever shrouded in mystery.
They said I was America's dream. But when the dream ended, no one stayed by my side. The house is silent. The phone doesn't ring. The flowers they used to send have wilted, just like the promises they made. I stare at the ceiling, holding the pills that help me endure the lies. All I wanted was to be loved. John made me feel like the most special woman in the world. But only at night. During the day, I became invisible again. Robert said he cared about me. He touched my soul like no one else ever did. But even he turned his back on me when the voices got too loud. Was I too much? Or was I never enough? And now, on this final night before my story ends, I remember one last time how I got here.
1960. John F. Kennedy became the youngest elected president in American history. To the world, he was charm and confidence personified, a devoted husband, a visionary leader. But beneath that immaculate image, a deep restlessness simmered.
In my hands, I hold every man's dream. Power, glory, admiration. But when the lights go out, when the applause stops, only silence remains. A gnawing emptiness inside me. An abyss that no title, no victory can fill. Jackie is the very essence of grace, elegant, untouchable, the perfect first lady. And yet, even when I'm with her, I'm completely alone. Our marriage is a play, a contract disguised as love. I need to feel alive again. I need fire, I need passion.
Robert F. Kennedy was 8 years younger than his brother. He was the second most powerful man in America. However, he always preferred to stay in the background.
To them, we are the Kennedy brothers. But I have always been John's guardian angel. While he charms the world, I take care of the dirty work. Mafia investigations, civil rights struggles, political enemies. I fight them all, so he can remain pure. It's much more than a duty. It's my purpose. John is destined for greatness. And I would give up everything to protect that destiny. If necessary, even myself.
Meanwhile, in Hollywood, behind Marilyn Monroe's dazzling facade lies another truth, the world's ultimate symbol of desire, fighting battles that fame could never heal.
They see the goddess, but I feel the ghost. Every morning I wake up and put on the mask, the breathy voice, the innocent sexuality, the golden smile. But inside, I'm drowning. 3 failed marriages, endless affairs, and still I am alone. The pills may bring me sleep, but never peace. I just want someone to look past the blonde hair, past the curves, and see Norma Jean, not Marilyn Monroe. Is that really too much to ask? Because in the silence, when the lights go out, I realize the cruelest truth of all. I am still, completely alone.
May 1962. At a Hollywood party, fate sets the stage for a moment that will change history. The President of the United States locks eyes with America's brightest star, and in that instant, nothing will ever be the same.
I see her at the other end of the room. And suddenly, the world seems to stop. Marilyn Monroe isn't just beautiful. She's exciting. She's talking. Her voice is silky smooth. I'm aware of the risks. I know the price. But I'm a Kennedy, and I get what I want.
When he looks at me, I feel it. The same hunger in his eyes. A man who understands power and the loneliness that comes with it. For the first time in years, I feel seen. Not the mask, not the dazzling star, but the woman underneath. The real me.
The relationship begins secretly. Special telephone lines are set up at the White House. They meet at the Kennedy estate in Palm Beach on weekends. A dangerous game of desire is played in the shadow of American power. And then, the night that changed everything arrives. May 19th, 1962, Madison Square Garden. 15,000 people in the arena, millions watching on TV. The moment that will go down in history is about to begin.
My dress was so tight that I had to sew myself into it. Every stitch is as delicate as a breath. But tonight, I'm going to create a moment John will never forget. There will be thousands of eyes in the room, but for me, there are only two that matter.
And then, the lights dim, the spotlights come on. Marilyn takes the stage.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
My God. Dangerous, but magnificent. Jackie's beside me. Cameras everywhere. Yet all I hear is Marilyn's voice. This incredible woman is mine.
However, Robert F. Kennedy sees the disaster approaching like a storm on the horizon.
John. He's becoming increasingly careless. Distracted. Late night, secret phone calls. Sudden disappearances. And then I hear her name. Marilyn Monroe. My blood runs cold. With so many women to choose from, why her? Every word he says makes headlines. Unpredictable. Dangerous. This is a threat. A threat that could destroy not only his marriage, but his presidency. After that night, hiding is no longer possible. The press is closing in. Jackie is suspicious. And the party's heavyweights are in a panic. I must act.
Summer 1962. Pressure mounts. J. Edgar Hoover hints at FBI files. The party threatens revolt. Jackie nears her breaking point. The family closes ranks, and Robert is given one impossible task: end the affair.
I had never seen John like this before. In love. Truly in love. But love is a luxury a president cannot afford. I told him the truth. John, this woman will destroy everything we've built. Your marriage, your children, your legacy. Everything will be destroyed.
Robert's words hit like bullets. Will you choose your family or her? Will you choose the presidency or her? But how can you choose between duty and desire, between the world and your heart?
And in the weeks that followed, his choice became clear. The calls stopped, the doors closed, and Marilyn was left in the silence.
Silence, more destructive than any argument. One day I'm his lover. The next day, nothing. Once again I am nobody. A ghost who once thought she was loved.
Rumors about Marilyn and the president are spiraling out of control. Whispers spread through Washington and Hollywood alike. Robert F. Kennedy arrives in Los Angeles to put out the fire, but instead, he's drawn into the flames.
I came to contain the situation, to keep her quiet, to protect the family. But Marilyn isn't what I expected. She's not just a beautiful woman throwing a tantrum. She's intelligent, wounded, and so desperately alone. When she speaks of her childhood, her dreams, her fears, I see past the movie star to the lost little girl inside. And before I know it, I'm falling.
Robert is everything John wasn't. John was fire. Robert is warmth. With him, I dare to hope again. Maybe the Kennedy who could love me isn't the president, but his brother.
For months, they hide their own affair, hotel rooms, midnight calls. Robert claims it's to protect John, but his heart knows the truth.
I'm betraying everything I stand for. My wife, my children, my principles. But Marilyn, she makes me feel things I've never felt before. With her, I'm not the responsible one, not the protector, not the fixer. I'm just a man in love with an extraordinary woman.
When winter comes, the truth comes out. Marilyn's emotional instability becomes more apparent with each passing day.
I tell Robert I want to marry him. And I see the panic in his eyes. They think I'm just a dumb blonde who spreads her legs for powerful men. In that moment, I know. I'm about to be abandoned again. The Kennedy brothers, they take what they want, then vanish.
Spring, 1962. Marilyn shifts from lover to liability, whispering Kennedy secrets to friends and journalists. CIA plots, mafia ties, government cover-ups, pillow talk that could topple a presidency.
The FBI reports freeze my blood. Marilyn is talking, threatening to expose everything. The woman I loved may destroy us all.
I tried to protect John and created a monster. Marilyn is slipping. Pills, rage, secrets whispered to the wrong men. And God help me, I still love her.
Saturday night, August 5th, 1962. It is said that Robert F. Kennedy visited Marilyn's home in Los Angeles for the last time. But what really happened that night? This remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Neighbors heard screams coming from the house in Brentwood. The sounds grew louder. Doors slammed. After midnight, a shadow disappeared into the darkness. The next morning, at 8 o'clock, her maid, Mrs. Murray, found Marilyn dead in her bedroom. Official explanation: barbiturate poisoning, suicide. But the doubts never ended. The phone records had been erased. The police reports were full of gaps. Witnesses swore it was Robert F. Kennedy. Yet there was no official record of him being in Los Angeles. Her doctor made contradictory statements. Some said FBI agents entered the house without the crime scene being touched. After Marilyn Monroe's death, the curse continued. John F. Kennedy, assassinated in Dallas. Robert F. Kennedy, shot in Los Angeles, the city where Marilyn died. Within 6 years, all three were gone. A president, a secretary, a star. Coincidence? Fate or something darker? 60 years have passed, but the questions remain unanswered. Perhaps the truth was buried with them. But one thing is certain. When power, love, and secrets collide, the result is always tragedy. And in the next episode, a very different kind of love story awaits. Salvador Dali and Gala, a tale of passion, art, obsession, and betrayal. To uncover their secrets, subscribe now and tell us in the comments. Did the Kennedy brothers truly love Marilyn Monroe? Or was she just another pawn in their power games? See you in the next story. Until then, keep your curiosity alive.